All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We're excited to welcome you to this webinar on bringing the power of AI into your existing enterprise applications. So we'll make time for questions a little bit later, but for now, I'll hand it over to our presenter, Rahul Raina, VP Business Development at Celestial Systems. Over to you, Rahul.
Awesome. Thanks, Earl. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate everybody's time. For those of you that don't know me, as Cyril mentioned, I'm a VP of Business Development at Celestial Systems. That means I'm in charge for most revenue generating activities at our company. And today I want to talk about a topic that is coming up more and more often these days, which is, we have a lot of existing enterprise clients or, a lot of clients in general. And almost every client that I talk to is in some way, shape, or form thinking about incorporating AI into their existing products or existing applications. So without further ado, I'm going to just share my screen and please let me know if you guys can see it. 1 second here. Can everybody see my screen? Somebody give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Thank you. Awesome. So as I was mentioning, one of the things that we hear a lot about from our clients today is everybody wants to incorporate this thing called AI into what they currently have, right? So I thought it would be good to do a little bit of discussion on what are some of the things that we should consider if you're an organization that's going down this path of incorporating AI into your existing applications or product. What are the things you should look out for? How do you identify opportunities? And how do you, what are some of the risks and challenges you might potentially face throughout the way? So the agenda for this webinar is pretty straightforward. Like I was saying, we're going to talk a little bit about the business value that AI brings, some opportunities, how we actually integrate and put everything together in a general sense. What are some of the challenges and mitigation tactics that you might face when you come across these situations, and who are the types of companies you should be partnering with to give yourself the best chance at making yourself successful. And then, as Cyril said, we'll end with a little bit of Q&A at the end. So not to worry, this is going to be maybe about a quick webinar, totaling about 30 minutes in total. Okay. So the first thing is understanding AI's business value, right? The first question we want to ask is, hey, like, why do we actually want to incorporate this into our company, into our existing application? Why do we even want to take the burden or headache to do that? Well, as many of you already know, the answers are generally quite, fairly obvious, and most people do know this, but I do want to highlight this again. These are things that we see very, very regularly, right? So generally people are trying to chase efficiency. So in terms of AI, using AI for automation, using AI to make costs more efficient, using AI to boost productivity. The efficiency gains is one core area that people generally target, right? I know we use it every day. Folks that use ChatGPT, Microsoft Copilot on a regular daily basis. Developers have all kinds of different tools. So, it's all in the name for efficiency. The second core area is people are looking to leverage data to make better decisions, right? Better, faster, and more accurate decisions. We now, with the use of AI, have access to more and more data, and we can access it in a very quick and very intelligent manner. So that's the second broad area that people are generally thinking about using it in. And then the third one, if you're like any company, any organization, you always think about your competitors, your competitive landscape. People are using AI to give themselves an edge, and especially in the context of existing products or existing applications, people want to incorporate or infuse AI to give themselves a competitive advantage against the other companies in their space, thereby attracting more customers. The second core area that I'd like to highlight is a lot of people are chasing AI-driven revenue growth, right? And in today's world where the financial markets are, a bit under pressure, everybody's sort of feeling the financial pinch. We hear it from our clients, all the time. People are always looking to do more with less, and generally a lot of people are relying on AI to do that, right? They're looking on for AI to create new revenue streams for them. They're looking for AI to be sort of a way that they could expand into new markets, into new areas, create new product streams. Whether when it comes to their existing customers, a lot of people are looking at AI for creating personalized experiences, giving their existing customers a better experience so that they can stay loyal for longer, they can buy more, they can be a much better, higher value customer. So at the end of the day, all of these things that people are doing are generally trying to impact the top line revenue for the most part. And the last thing I do want to point out is for all of these situations, building for any AI project, these points are important because you need to build an ROI justification before you can undertake any of these projects, right? And that's not just an AI thing, that's in general. If we want to get anything passed in our organization or in any enterprise for that matter, there needs to be some substantial ROI that needs to be built in. Okay, I'm going to move on here. So the next step is we want to talk about how do we actually identify some of these opportunities. So now we know, okay, well, we want to build out an ROI, we want to expand, we want to give our customers a better experience, we want more revenue, etc. The first thing we always recommend to our client is, where are your pain points? Look at areas that can drive high impact. Look at some use cases that we can tackle, some small use cases that we can tackle and get some quick wins on. Identify those use cases, what they are. They need to be somewhat meaningful so that you can show impact and build a nice justification for your ROI, but make sure that they're not overly cumbersome to navigate, right? Like, you don't want to do something that's extremely involved, because generally the initial projects might need to be small or more of a pilot or POC type. The second thing that we always look at is, if you've got the use case identified, what is the state of your data currently today? What's the quality like? What's the availability like? How is your infrastructure doing? What are your data governance and compliance policies in place? Is your data ready to be used by an application that's a data-driven AI application? And that's an assessment that somebody like Celesta can do, or if you have team members yourself, you guys can do that as well. But that is a very, very important point. Data readiness is extremely important. Also, on the data governance piece, if you're a new company that's embarking on this journey to infuse AI into your existing applications, I would strongly suggest having a data governance or ethics committee built out, even if it's small to start, even if it's a couple people, that's totally fine. But somebody to ensure that their data governance policies, actually in place, and once they're in place, then two, that you can actually adhere to those policies. So that the data governance thing becomes a problem much later on if it's not identified early on. And the next is, these are some 3 areas that we've seen that a lot of our clients and many companies today are actually targeting for AI implementation specifically. So the first one, as I talked about before, is in terms of customer experience, becoming more personal, providing more prediction, making your existing customers higher value, longer term, lesser churn, more money, etc. The next target area that a lot of companies are targeting is in operations. So think automation, think supply chain, think in the lines of maintenance, etc. And the third one is, which I think probably would apply to a lot of people here, is product innovation, right? How do we improve our existing products? How do we add more features? Either we infuse AI into our development streams, or we create new AI first features for our existing products and applications. So those are some of the three major business areas that a lot of companies are targeting. Next, I would like to talk about how do we actually go about, once we have the use case, once we have the areas, how do we go about actually targeting to infuse or start integrating AI into our existing applications? So our recommendation is, and for almost for every project, not just an AI project, is always to start small. Pick your use case, pick something that drives value, but it's not overly cumbersome to do, because you need to get some quick wins, you need to build some ROI. So let's start off with a small pilot project, and then you can gradually scale from there. The next thing is very, very important to choose the right set of tools. The AI tool chain is extremely, extremely large, and actually probably growing by, by leaps and bounds almost every day. There's new companies coming into the space every day. If you have enough understanding of the space, do your research first, choose the right tool chains that work for you, that align with your business goals, or work with partners that can help you choose those correct tool chains. Compatibility with existing products, existing systems is important, and you should also keep your future scalability in mind as well. The next thing is, even if you're doing a small pilot or a small project to test out your hypothesis, make sure that there is a roadmap that's tied into a long-term view, right? So that whoever is looking or signing off on the pilot or POC knows what is the end goal, knows what the light at the end of the tunnel is. And it's important to align the AI initiatives with the business priorities. So it's good to make sure that all of these things are discussed in an open manner with management, with engineering, with champions of this initiative. It's important. This roadmap sort of brings everybody together. So you have a current view of a pilot, you have the correct tool chain, and then you have the long-term view of what a production AI system could probably look like. So next, I want to talk about a process, and this is something that we at Celestial are, sort of really proud of and kind of pride ourselves on. So what we like to call this process is we have a capability to go end to end, in the sense that we can take an idea and take it all the way to fruition when it comes to delivering actual impact from implementing AI, right? So the first part of any process, much like anything else, starts with strategic planning and a little bit of ideation. So one of the things that we're doing with a lot of our clients today is we hold specific workshops. The main target of these workshops is to define business goals, define strategic initiatives, to see what companies want to do in a long-term view. Actually, we're also doing a workshop with Microsoft in a day. This workshop is not so much on the planning session, but it will help clients think about, holding some of these planning kind of workshops internally as well. The next step is we look at the state of the data, right? So what does the infrastructure look like? Does it need to be modernized? Does it need to be optimized? How is that data looking? Again, going back to the data readiness point, is the data actually ready to be ingested, to be used by an LLM, or to be used in an AI-driven application? That is very, very important, because this number two piece, almost every company already has it. They have data. We just don't know what state the data is in, or where it's at, or how many different formats in, and all those things. But everybody has some sort of data for sure. The third thing is then we look at actually moving the data, right? So whether it's through pipelines, ELT or ELT, we can move the data seamlessly in a secure way and put it into a position where it can be cleaned, optimized, and actually become ready for ingestion. This can be done either in multiple clouds, it can be done on-prem, it can be done pretty much anywhere. This is very much a data engineering centric initiative. The next step, what we like to follow, is pretty much machine learning operations. So if you think about it, it's about building automations and workflows. For me, ML ops is quite similar, or the intersection of DevOps and machine learning. For us, it's building automation and workflows into systems that are already there to reduce redundancy, and that includes working with different warehouses, working with different data lakes, etc., managing of metadata, and all those different things. So now if we've done our planning, we have the data in place, then obviously we need to do something with the data in terms of visualize it some way, shape, or form, and show it and deliver it to our consumers, our users. And that's where our application development expertise comes in. So this area is actually something that Celestial has been an expert in for many, many years. So we're quite proficient with it. Whether it's a web application or a mobile or any other type of desktop application, you need to build that application layer, which can be enhanced with analytics. It can also be user-centered. It can also provide business intelligence reports, etc. But all the data that's present needs to be presented in a consumable, easy to consume format for the end user. The next thing is what we like to call as full stack engineering, but essentially it's just for us to glue everything together, right? For us, it's infusing everything, it's making everything seamless, adding layers of security into it, and making sure everything kind of works together, right? So when we say full stack in the sense, it's not on the application layer, but it's definitely on the application all the way to the data, to where the data is stored, to whichever cloud you're using. So that is that full stack that we're talking about. So I think you mentioned here comprehensive ML AI integration. So I think that's the key word here. And of course, with every product, with every application that is built, with every product that we build, there's always a continuous cycle of improvement and support. There's a continuous monitoring that needs to be set up, maintenance and optimization as you use your product, as you improve performance, as you improve scalability. And what that leads to, hopefully, is organization-wide AI impact, right? And then by creating such products, what you can do is you can make AI actually accessible to a lot of people in your organization. And one of the things that I'll also talk about is building that sort of AI culture is very important in the company, and getting people to adopt that culture is crucial. And sometimes that becomes a bit of a challenge. But the more people in your organization that are touching, feeling, and playing around with AI or using it on a regular basis, the better off you're going to be rolling out these kind of initiatives. So this is the complete capability that we have as an organization today. And of course, we continue to keep building on it. There are many different technologies, many different tech stacks, tool chains that are part of this, which I'm not going to go into in detail today. But yeah, this sort of gives a complete end-to-end look at our thought process and where we can start and where we hope to finish. And many of our clients, they engage us for the whole process from 1 to 8. Some clients meet us at 2, some clients meet us at 4, some clients meet us at 5. It really doesn't matter to us, but we have a full end-to-end capability that we can deliver these kind of products. So next, I want to talk about a little bit of some possible challenges and some mitigation tactics that you might encounter while if you've identified your use case, you've got your ROIs built, you've got the process all lined out, you've got the team together. There's still going to be a lot of some challenges and bumps along the way that you'll probably encounter. One of the main things that comes up a lot is about data privacy and ethics. How we use sensitive data and to make sure that the AI we're using is ethical, it's responsible, is always a challenge. And this is where having a data governance ethics committee is extremely important, so that people can know what policies that they need to adhere to. But this is definitely an area that comes up a lot and is very challenging for a lot of organizations. The next thing is change management. So if you're making this fundamental shift in your organization, and most organizations have not been traditionally AI first because it wasn't a thing a few years ago, there's probably going to be a risk or pushback to adoption. And this is where the cultural change is important. It's almost like you have to change the culture of the company, and the more people that are using AI in a productive manner, it is important so that they're more amicable to the change that happens. We need to think about fostering a culture of innovation, and do that with trainings, do that with regular communication from management, etc. And then the third one, of course, is inherent risk, right? You're embarking on sort of a new initiative, uncharted territory. It's not a secret that 80% of AI initiatives fail. That should not be a deterrent, but it is an inherent risk when you go on something new, right? So there's a lot of uncertainty in the space, but there's a lot of benefit as well. So what we always suggest is, hey, pick your use case that makes sense. Start off with a low risk pilot, monitor to see how things are going, and then sort of build on top of that. So, the investment upfront is fairly low in that sense. The next thing I would say is it's very important because this is a new area for a lot of people. I would say leverage partnerships that you have. There are a lot of companies in this space now. There are a lot of great partners to work with. Um, there's companies like Celestial, there's many other organizations that have been doing a lot of work with many different customers. Work with partners who have specialized knowledge, who can give you, industry best practices, who can give you the best solutions, who can give you the best way to work forward. Next is build an AI ready culture. Make sure we are communicating effectively and regularly with our teammates. We want to promote a culture of continuous learning and innovation, and make sure the team understands, why you are actually pushing this initiative. The third one is actually a very interesting one because it's about working with different technology partners. So today, I would say most people are already working with technology partners, and technology partners, more specifically, like if I'm talking about the hyperscalers like AWS or Azure, they are already very much well on their way to have robust AI tool chains, right? So we have a very thriving partnership with Microsoft, and they have almost every kind of AI service available. We have a very big partnership with a company called Data IQ, which I'll get into in a second. They have a very good tool chain of that you could use. So I would definitely say choose partners that sort of align with your vision. But a lot of the partners, chances are you're already working with, like you're already working with AWS or Amazon, or AWS or Azure or GCP or any of the other hyperscalers. So those areas are a good kind of low barrier to entry to dip your feet into the AI pool. As I mentioned, I want to talk a little bit about one of our partners, Data IQ. So for those that actually don't know what Data IQ is, Data IQ is a data science studio, and essentially what it does is it it provides a platform for collaboration between data engineering, data scientists, and business analysts or business intelligence users, right? So essentially, it's a place where people can create, train, maintain all of their models. You can do a lot of data engineering work around it. And everything is built in a very secure, and it adheres to data governance and all those different policies that you may have. So there are a lot of checks and balances sort of built in. And our partnership with Data IQ is sort of on the if clients are ready to adopt Data IQ, there's a lot of cleanup, there's a lot of data preparation data optimization work that needs to be done, right? I've talked about the state of the data a couple of times today. That's a very important piece. So where our partnership sort of fits in with them is we do a lot of the work precursor work. So we look at where their data is today, what their infrastructure looks like, what does their application look like? Do things need to be modernized? And then once all those checks are ticked off, then they can actually robustly use and get the most of a tool like Data IQ. And then for tools such as this, there's a lot of options of what you can use. Like so, in terms of hyperscalers or data lakes, you can be using an Azure, you can be using Redshift, Snowflake, Databricks. It doesn't matter. You can use any type of data source. And then for your AI models, you have a plethora of choices as well. And same thing for your compute. So essentially, DataIQ is a data science studio, like I mentioned, and it allows you to consume all of these external inputs, whether they're data sources or AI models or compute storages, and allows you to build and maintain and monitor everything into one place. So this is a very successful company now, and we're very fortunate and excited to be partnering with them. And we can see the type of collaboration and type of adoption that they're getting in the industry. So it's very, very good to see. Okay, so oops. So last slide, I just want to end on one thing. So I would say I think by now most people do understand the value of AI. Most people are generally already kind of a couple steps in on that path. And it's no doubt that there's a lot of value that an AI brings to to our existing products or to our existing applications. What I would say again to recap, start off with the use case, build out your pilot, identify something small to work on that is going to provide value, build the ROI justification. That's very important to get buy-in from other people. Choose the right tool set, right? Choose the right tool set, work with some experts if needed, who can guide you in choosing the right tool chains that you can use that work for yourself, that work for your business. And then find a good set of partners to work with, right? And that partner could be Azure, that partner could be AWS, that partner could be a company like Celestal. It doesn't matter. But choosing partners that work for your ecosystem, that work for your business goals is important. And hopefully, if you can do it this way, of course, it's a journey that you're going to go on. It'll just be done in a very methodical, thoughtful way. And if you do it incrementally, there's going to be a lot of the chance of adoption within your organization is going to be much, much higher. And over time, you can transform your company from just, a simple product or simple application to an AI first, data driven application or product. Okay. So with that, I want to thank everybody for their time today. And I thank everybody for their attention for this webinar and hope you find it useful. If there's any feedback, please do share. And yeah, I'm open for any questions right now, should you have any. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Thanks, Rahul. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, please drop them in the Q&A section. We're just about at time, but I think we can potentially go over by a minute or two if anyone has a question. And maybe actually, Rahul, we can start with a question that came over email earlier this week, which I think ties into what you were talking about with Data IQ, which is
Yes.
yeah, what role does data readiness play in the success of AI integration projects?
Yeah, I mean, it plays a very crucial, integral role, right? I think if your data is not in a state to be ready to be consumed, then it's going to be a very frustrating journey for you, right? It's like, it would be like running before you can even crawl, in my opinion. So it would be very difficult, and it would really deter people from embarking on that journey. So I think doing an honest self-assessment of where what state your data is in is very important, or work with people that can give you that sort of assessment as well, right? And not only the data, I think it's important that your infrastructure is also at a point that you can transform your application or product into something that's like AI first.
That makes a lot of sense. All right, so I think we're close to time. So yeah, I want to just thank everybody again for joining. Yeah, we're really glad you could make it today. Again, if you do have questions, I think we'd like to invite you to reach out to Rahul directly, and he'll be glad to answer. And then we'd also like to invite you to register for our next webinar, which is on September 26th. And this one we'll be doing jointly with Data IQ, and we'll dive into the knowledge and tools needed to advance your generative AI initiatives. And it will include a Gen AI maturity quiz. So I'll drop the details in the Q&A section now, and you can click the link to sign up. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, so much. And hopefully we'll see you next time.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Cyril. Have a good day. Bye-bye.